Claude Code Playground plugin is fantastic. It allows you to create self-contained apps that solve a very specific development challenge you're facing. The result can be anything from an AI-tailored prompt to actual piece of code. But still, Claude Code Playgrounds come with one significant downside. The diagrams and flowcharts you're gonna get are not truly interactive. Luckily, there's a very easy fix for that. You can actually plug in a proper diagramming library into Claude Code Playgrounds to get much more usable visual experiences. Here's how you can use JointJS library to turn static Claude Code Playground diagrams into truly interactive visual tools. Here's an example of a code map generated with a Claude Code Playground plugin. It seems interactive because you can zoom in, you can move around, and you can click on the elements to add additional comments. But this diagram is not really interactive because you cannot drag nodes around and rearrange them in a way that would make more sense for you. Another problem that we're seeing here is that lines here, connections between elements, links, become very entangled, very difficult to discern, and this is not the best user experience. Here's what this code map looks like when you improve it with the JointJS diagramming library. I'll just paste in a link to this second version, and immediately as I load it, you see that the entire diagram was actually animated in, which is really nice and really pleasing. You can zoom in and out on the diagram and you can move around with it if you click the mouse, but the key difference here is that you can actually click, grab, and drag all the nodes here, which actually means that you can rearrange the diagram according to your precise needs, or specifically, perhaps you want to learn more about those concepts here, and now you're gonna align the diagram in a way that it makes much more sense for your particular use case. Another cool thing that we have here that is different from the default Claude Code Playground is that you actually have different routers available in JointJS. What this means is that you can actually test the different ones here and see exactly which one is offering you the best experience for the specific diagram you generated. Direct router is what you've seen in the initial demo where lines are connected directly. And another cool thing that you can do here is you can switch connections from rounded to curve, which actually means that connections will look even nicer, especially with the direct router. But of course, you can test them out with other routers. And this is just one of many nice features that JointJS offers that allows you to create better, more visually pleasing, and actually more usable diagrams. Another thing that you might have noticed here is that as I'm hovering elements here, the connections light up. And this is not random. The actual connections that light up are connections between the selected element, this one here, for example, and the one that you're hovering. So this helps you visualize the exact relationships between different concepts that you want to learn about. So if you, for example, select Manhattan router and then hover over the metro router, you're going to see that their direct connection is the link feature. These are, of course, all concepts from JointJS library, and I'm going a little bit meta here where I'm actually showing you a JointJS diagram created with JointJS and Claude Code. But of course, you can create a code map of any framework or your own specific code base. I know what you're thinking now. How can I actually enhance my Claude Code Playgrounds with JointJS? Well, the obvious answer is just prompt it, want to generate a playground, ask Claude to enhance it with JointJS. But there's a lot of nuance to that, so we actually created a specific Claude Code plugin that you can install to get better diagrams, better playgrounds immediately. The plugin is available on GitHub. I'll open it. You will find everything you need to know about the plugin exactly in the README here, from the skills that are available to actual installation process. But of course, I will show you how to do this step by step right now. The first thing that you need to do when you want to install a custom plugin into Claude Code, you need to add its marketplace. A marketplace is essentially a namespace that Claude uses to group plugins of one author at the same place. In this case, we want to add JointJS Marketplace to Claude. And the command for that is going to be this one. I'll just copy it here and jump into my terminal. I will enter Claude. You can see all plugins that you have installed if you run /plugin command. The first tab is Discover, where you're going to find plugins that are available in Claude's official marketplace. Then you have installed plugins in the second tab. In the third tab is Marketplaces. When you're adding third-party plugins, marketplaces associated with those plugins will be listed here. If there are errors in any of your plugins, you're going to find them here in the tab Errors. Currently, there's no plugin errors. hopefully it will stay that way. All right, let's add JointJS Marketplace. I will paste in the command I copied before, plugin marketplace add, and link to the GitHub where JointJS Marketplace is available. I'll hit enter, and once the command finishes, the marketplace will be added. So if I run plugin again, under marketplaces, I should see Claude Plugins Official and JointJS Marketplace as well. The first thing that I would recommend you to do once you add a marketplace to Claude Code, you want to enable updates for that specific marketplace, because by default, plugins from third-party marketplaces will not be updated unless you specifically request their updates. And that's not ideal because there might be security updates or new features that you're missing out if you don't update the plugins. So what you need to do is you need to enter the marketplace you installed, JointJS in this example, and you want to enable auto update. And this is exactly what I'm going to do. This means that every time you start Claude, it will check the plugin marketplace, and if there are new updates, it will just pull them in, and next time you run Claude, you will have the newest version of plugins associated with that marketplace. All right, now that we have JointJS Marketplace, let's install JointJS Playground plugin. You already see command here, browse plugins, and here you're going to see the list of all plugins that are available in Marketplace. In this example, this is going to be JointJS Claude Playground, so I can just hit enter here and this will install this plugin. Alternatively, I can also copy the command directly into Claude and it will install the JointJS Playground plugin as well. So if you want to install the plugin directly, just copy the command from the GitHub repository and paste it into your Claude Code, or alternatively, browse all plugins from the marketplace and install it that way. I'll just hit enter here and I'll install it in my user scope. Once the plugin is installed, Claude will remind you that you need to reload plugins. After reloading plugins, I should be able to see skills that are available in those plugins, but unfortunately that's not the case. So if I try to run the command JointJS, I should see all skills listed on the namespace JointJS, and this is the marketplace we just added, so they should be available here, but they're not. And the only thing that really works for me is if I close the Claude completely and re-enter it, only then are actually skills loaded and ready for use. So even though the Claude instructs you to just reload plugins, when you're installing new plugins, you might need to exit Claude Code and re-enter it again to actually enable those plugins. So now if I try running the JointJS command, I will see the list of all skills available within the plugin. As you can see, we have built a few skills where JointJS diagramming library can drastically enhance Claude Code Playgrounds. And the first one I've shown you in the demo before is codemap. As you can clearly see here, the way you can use it is with the command /codemap, and then just add a library that you want to build a codemap for. Perhaps you want to build a codemap for a local database, in which case you would just reference it here. Or, for example, you might want to build a codemap for React because you do want to learn more about React. So let's try that. This will trigger codemap skill of the JointJS Claude Playgrounds and build a visual JointJS enhanced React codemap. You can then use that codemap to pinpoint your weaknesses and learn more about React. I'll just cancel the prompt here because it can take quite a long time and I already have demos built that I want to show you. But before I do, I want to mention that you don't have to specifically invoke the skill from a plugin like we did here, /codemap, but you can actually just type in the prompt as you usually do. For example, build a JointJS codemap for React, and this should trigger the correct plugin and give you JointJS enhanced diagram for React codebase. I will jump back into Chrome to show you the demo. There it is, a nice visual representation of the React framework enhanced with JointJS, meaning, as I've shown you before, you can rearrange those nodes here. You can tweak various settings from routers to connectors, and anything you do here will be nicely animated. So if you press the fit view command, the screen will show the entire diagram. Just as well, if you ever mess up with the layout, you can just hit reset and it will be back to the original state. Of course, toggling presets is animated as well, so you can clearly visualize certain aspects of React framework. Now, as you're adding nodes here, I want to learn more about that. You're going to get a specific prompt you can copy to actually build your own training program to get better at React. You've seen that we've added more skills to the JointJS Playgrounds plugin, so let me show you different things you can build with JointJS Claude Playground plugin. I will jump back into terminal. I will enter /jointjs so I can see different skills that are available in the plugin. You've seen how the codemap skill works. You can build a code map of any framework or library, and just as well, you can build a code map of any code base that you have on your system. So you just reference the folder where the code base is at, and this plugin will build a nice visual representation of that entire code base, which will help you understand a little bit more about relationships between different things. A second thing that is available here is Canvas Builder. Canvas Builder allows you to build any type of visual tool. The basis of that is drag and drop, where you drag certain segments, certain nodes to the canvas, and then you just visually connect the lines to build something, be it a prompt, a query, or anything like that. A really cool thing that we built with it is SQL Query Builder. Let me show you how this works. I'll jump back into the browser. I'll open another demo, SQL Query Builder. In this playground, I can see the tables from my database in the sidebar, and I can just drag and drop them to the canvas. All properties of each node will be visible, and I can visually connect them here to get specific query right here in the second sidebar. And as you see, this gives me visual way to build queries, which can be quite nice and quite handy, especially when you're dealing with large, complex databases where you do want a little bit more help with structuring your queries. This plugin also allows you to do advanced things like switching the type of join. By default, you're going to have a left join, but you can switch it to inner join, right join, or full join. Just as well, you can also use other query nodes such as group by, and this then allows you to create a group by clause. I'm just dragging those randomly here, so don't use that query as an example. You can build and you should build your own queries with that. If you want a visual tool for your database structure, well, just instruct Claude to build your JointJS visual SQL query builder, and you'll get something like this that will help you build your own queries. Another cool visual builder we created here is Decision Tree Builder. I'll open it in the browser here. This playground will help you generate visual flowcharts and map out various courses users can take. So again, this is powered by JointJS. You can drag and drop nodes on the canvas here, and then you can just connect the lines however you see fit to build your own decision tree builder. Of course, you can then export rules as JSON, JavaScript, or pseudocode. Keep in mind that you can always ask Claude to enhance it with your own specific features that you need, that you want in this playground. As is the case with all diagrams built in JointJS, you can switch to different routers to have a little bit nicer representation here, and you can change the connector type. So if you want to see a different connector and have a little bit nicer, visually more appealing diagram, you can do that very easily. We've built more demos with the Canvas Builder that is available within JointJS Claude Playground, and you're going to find all of those demos linked below in the description. Some of those are really cool, so do check them out. Let's jump back into the terminal. The next skill we have here is Data Explorer. This skill creates an interactive Data Explorer playground to any database schema, API data model, or entity relation diagram. If you have any type of data that you want to visualize, you can use this skill, Data Explorer, within JointJS Claude Playground plugin. And of course, you can just prompt the Claude, mention that you want to build JointJS Playground, and it will figure out what is the best skill to utilize to build your own playground. As an example for this skill, we've built e-commerce Data Explorer. In this demo, we've used e-commerce data and visualized it on this diagram. Of course, you can drag the nodes around, change to a different router if you want, visualize this schema, this database in a way that is useful for you. And of course, you can click on any node, add this particular item to the query, and you're going to get a nice little database query that will help you select exactly what you want from your data. This is just one random example. You can use it to visualize any type of data that you might have. Another skill that we have available here is Site Explorer. Just as the title says, this enables you to create a visual representation of a certain website. Behind the scenes, this skill uses sitemap XML or any other type of document that it might find that has your site structure. If it doesn't find anything, that is just going to crawl your website and figure out exactly what the structure is. So you can just say something like build a JointJS sitemap off and just enter your URL, for example, jointjs.com. Once you do that, the skill is going to run. It will create a custom playground with your site structure. Let's jump into the browser so I can show you the demo. This is the structure of JointJS website. You can drag the nodes around. You can filter the structures to show exactly the thing that you want to see. You can switch to different types of routers or even different types of connectors. This looks really interesting. The last skill that we currently have in the plugin is diff-review. This tool allows you to create interactive PR or diff-review tools. It's a little bit specific, but I think it's a really cool representation of what is possible to build with JointJS Claude Playground plugin. Let me make it perfectly clear again that you don't have to specifically use those skills that are available within the plugin. Just mention that you want to build JointJS Claude Playground, and AI Claude will figure out exactly what it should use from which plugin to build your own custom playground. So let me show you in the browser what a diff-review playground might look like. There we go. You have a nice overview of changes. You can approve those or reject those. And you have a nice visual representation of the code that makes it perfectly clear what the relationships between the changes that you're making and the rest of the system are. If the lines are getting in the way, you can switch to a different router and have a nicer, cleaner diagram that helps you understand a little bit more about code. Of course, I can click the notes here and jump exactly to the diff related to that particular file, to that particular segment of the code. Then I can approve them, disapprove them, and see exactly what's happening. Of course, you can request to get exactly the output that you want. If you just want clarity to understand exactly what it is that you want to approve or reject, well, you can get a specific JointJS Claude Playground exactly for that. So if you want to build visual tools, use JointJS Claude Playground plugin, and you're going to be able to build pretty much anything you want to help solve your specific development challenges. So if you're using official Claude Playground and you happen to get an actual diagram, just remember that you can actually enhance it with JointJS and with JointJS Claude Playground plugin to get more intuitive and more efficient visual tool. Use the plugin, and when you do use it, please share the results with us. We'd love to see exactly what you built with JointJS Claude Playground plugin. Thank you so much for watching this. My name is Zoran Yamber. I'm a developer advocate at JointJS, and I will see you in a different video. Until then, happy diagramming.